Okay, welcome everyone to this meeting of Sandwich Town Council, acting as trustee of the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund. Thank you all for coming out on this dreadful night. The first item on the agenda is apologies for absence received.
Okay, we have got Councillor Chuka on a council commitment, Councillor Franklin on a council commitment, Councillor Pennington on a personal commitment, Councillor Breen on a personal commitment, Councillor Morehouse personal commitment, and Councillors D and P Carter personal commitments.
Okay, thank you. So we are quorate this evening. Thank you to Councillor Marie for stepping in. Second item is declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. Do you have any declarations? No? Thank you. Next item is minutes of previous meetings and committees. We have a few to get through here. So the first one is the minutes of the Tollbridge Fund held on the 16th of June 2025. Sorry, that's not the 16th of June, it is the
It's the 8th
of October. Yeah. So I'll take these in turn. Anyone have any matters arising on this? On these minutes?
Yeah, there are two things which would be, sorry, let me get back to STBF. No, sorry, it's Finance Committee and Museum and Archive, my apologies. No.
Okay. There was an item at 10:25:10 where we talked about setting up a complaint email.
Yes.
Has that been done?
Yes.
That's been done. Okay, and also that policies would be uploaded.
That's been done.
That's been done. Okay. So is everyone happy with those minutes? Anyone prepared to propose them?
I'll propose them.
Seconder? Councillor Gray, all those in favour? That's approved. Next item is to receive the minutes of the Finance Committee held on the 17th of September and the 15th of October 2025. Are there any matters arising? Councillor Black?
Yeah, 9:25:5, there was a mention about looking at to achieve its performance. We should just recall that it was actually 14% on an annual basis.
Yeah.
And the other thing was we have got a meeting set up to discuss with the RFO, with the town clerk and myself, about how we respond to Advantage's letter back to us about concerns about the software for charities.
Yeah. And that's been...
That's being scheduled for the 9th of December, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
So I know, it's one of those things. And with that, then we'll take a decision how we reply to the software supplier.
Okay. There's a reference in there to 9:25:9 about insulation for the Guildhall, which Julian, the property manager, was considering sheep's wool, but the other form of insulation arrived today, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's been pursued. Okay, do we have a proposal and seconder for those minutes?
I'll propose.
Councillor Black proposing, Councillor Mallett seconding. All those in favour? Approving those minutes. Thank you. Next is to receive the minutes of the Museum and Archives Committee held on the 23rd of July 2025. Any matters arising?
Just one, which is now, of course, with the museum managers, what the situation is. The deep clean is not going to be carried out on as in minute 10:25:14. So that perhaps needs to be amended, and obviously there needs to be a plan.
It's going to be carried out on the 22nd.
Oh, so it's been brought forward then? Oh, that's very good, that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you, my apologies then if I got it wrong.
Okay.
I'll
Are you
propose.
happy to propose those?
Propose, yeah.
Seconder? Councillor Ripley seconding. All those in favour? So those are received and approved. I shall now sign the minutes of the meeting held on the 8th of October. So, it's the date today, first.
And then hang on, you could
Sign.
sign as a true record.
Okay, so those minutes are signed as a true record. First of December.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, the next item is to review the action log. Are there any points arising from the action log? Attachment 4. There's one item outstanding on there, which is a review of the hire fees for the Guildhall,
That's coming
which,
up. Julian's been working on it. It will be with, STBF, if you see what I mean, committee, in December.
good. Any other matters arising from that action log?
Can I just ask if there's an update for regarding the car parking lease that we have for DDC?
Yes, that is, also Julian's written a report on that, that will, basically, it needs to be approved by, we were trying to work out who it needed to be approved by in the office today. But DDC have offered an extension for 14 months, which will take us to the end of the financial year 26-27, which is a really convenient timeframe.
Okay, well, my opinion would be to look at that because overview scrutiny today, this evening, have just decided to push forward for the car parking charges hikes before the next financial year. So I do suggest that they've told me to looks at it, because if they're going to put their prices up, I feel that we should put at least negotiate a better deal with DDC, considering they're going to make a large amount of money with the new parking charges.
I think that Julian's written a report. He said that he finished it today. He wanted to read it again tomorrow, and he was going to forward it on to me. I think it was going to go to the finance meetings in December.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other points on the action log? So are we happy to receive and note the comments? I'll propose that. Anyone second? Councillor Black, all those in favour? Thank you.
Sorry, can I just say that one again? It was
Myself and then Councillor Black seconding. Everyone in favour.
Yeah.
Right, the next item is public participation, a 20-minute session set aside for members of the public to make representations. I'm assuming there are none, as there's no one in the room. So the next item is the payment schedules. So we have payment schedules for the Tollbridge Fund, the Tollbridge Fund Guildhall and the Museum and Archives. That's attachment 6A, 6B and 6C. These have all been discussed previously at the STBF Finance Committee. So that committee has scrutinised these. I propose we go through these one by one and then vote for them on block at the end, if that's satisfactory. Yeah. So anything on 6A, which is the payment schedules for August, September, October, mid-November for the Tollbridge Fund, first of all. Anything rising? Okay. Anything on 6B, which is the Tollbridge Fund Guildhall schedules for August, September, October and mid-November? No. Anything on 6C, which is the Museum and Archives payment schedules, again for August, September, October and mid-November? Nothing on those. So is anyone prepared to propose those?
I'll propose those.
Councillor Ripley seconding. All those in favour of approving those?
You abstaining or? Oh, you agree? Okay.
That's unanimous. Okay, thank you. The next item is the bank reconciliations and budget variances reports. So first of all, again, I'll go through these one by one, and then if we can vote for them en bloc at the end, and then perhaps deal with the cruelty Cheviot report separately. So there's a number here, 7A up to 7G. So first of all is 7A, which is the bank reconciliation for the Tollbridge Fund, July, August, September, October. Any comments on these? No? Okay, 7B is the bank reconciliation for the Tollbridge Fund Guildhall account. Any comments on these? And then 7C is the bank reconciliation for the Tollbridge Fund Museum and Archives account for July, August, September. Any comments on these? No? Next one is 7D, which is the cash book. And this is receipts and payment cash book for the Tollbridge Fund Group for July, May, June, July, August, September and October 2025. Do we have any comments on that? Okay. Okay, 7E is the variance report for the Tollbridge Fund as of April to October 2025, and that's attachment 7E. Do we have any comments on this one? No? Next is 7F, which is the variance report for the Tollbridge Fund Guildhall as of April to October 2025. Any comments? No? Next is, finally, is the year-to-date variance report for the Tollbridge Fund Museum and Archives, April to October 2025, and that's attachment 7G. Any comments? So I'll take those as a whole, 7A to 7G. Would someone propose acceptance of those? Councillor Ripley, Councillor Black, Gray is seconding. All those in favour? So that's unanimous. So those have all been accepted. And then the last one on here is the 7H, attachment 7H, which is the quilted Cheviot summary of the September to October 25 period. Does anyone have any comments on this report?
Well, just the return is disappointing.
Do you mean the monthly
3%.
return? Or do you mean the annual return?
Well, the recent return, I can't remember what period it comes.
Do you mean the monthly?
Because I think the RFO a few weeks ago produced a comparison between quilted Cheviot and a number of other organisations that have significant charity investments, and quilted Cheviot seemed to be certainly in the top 2 or 3 for almost every month compared to others of a similar stage. And I did check with him that the companies he had chosen was actually chosen by one of these indexing groups, and they are people that deal with charities. So they said, as far as charities are concerned, quilted Cheviot is performing well compared to likely comparators.
Does that satisfy you?
Okay. It just, I can't remember the figure now, but it just looked to me to be a low figure.
Yeah,
Well, about 14-15%, I think, on an annual
it was
basis.
3% monthly income.
Yeah.
So, okay, so do we have anyone who's prepared to propose acceptance of that report? Councillor Black, seconder. Councillor Fortescue, all those in favour? Thank you. The next item is review of procedures and policies. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 policies here. These are draft procedures for review by the trustees. I'll take these in turn. And if we can vote on each as we go through, that would be helpful. So first one is the data protection policy. which is attachment 8A. Any comments on this? Do you know when this was last reviewed?
About when I did this. Yeah, a week ago.
Oh, we, right.
Less than, yeah.
Data protection, any comments on this? Councillor Black?
Yes, it's, I know I've been on this hobby horse frequently, but you look at 5.1, individuals' use of social media. This has been something we've discussed in the past, and I really would like an answer to the question is, what does it take to bring STBF into dispute? That's towards the end of section 5.1, including content posted in a personal capacity. I really disagree with that. I disagreed with similar comments on the STC policy. This is an infringement of liberties.
This is, to answer your question, this is a duplication basically of the STC policy.
Which I'm objected to.
Are you referring to attachment 8A or 8B?
No,
Because they're not.
5.1.
Sorry.
8B, paper 8B.
The social media policy. Yeah, we'll come on to that.
Well, then my papers are slightly.
Oh,
No,
that's why.
8B has unfortunately got the wrong heading. We've got the same heading twice.
I'm sorry, I was going mad, whatever.
No, it is specifically 8B.
It is
8B, section 5.1,
Yeah.
towards the very end. I can't remember what, page 4 or page 35, depending on how you want to look at it. 8B.
Yeah, so 8B is headed data protection. It should be
Yes,
social
exactly.
media policy.
Yeah.
So let's stick to 8A for now, data
Oh,
protection.
sorry. I think
Any
we-
comments on that? Everyone happy to approve that? Do we have a proposer? And a proposer, councillor Gray, councillor Fortescue is seconding. All those in favour? Councillor Marie? Thank you.
So, sweet,
You're
I'm
tired.
trying to find it. I'm not fouled, I'm honestly not going to say, I'm looking at this. It's on my
Okay, so
phone.
that's through. The second one is 8B, which should be headed social media policy.
Yes, I've changed
It
it.
happens.
So this is where councillor Black has an issue with 5.1.
5.1 towards the button, right towards the end, just
Yeah.
before section 5.2.
Yes,
And I really have a problem with that, as I had a problem with the STC one.
What's the problem?
No one can tell me what bringing STBF into disrepute means, although including through content posted on a personal capacity. Sorry, if I don't think that STBF is doing something right, then I may well say so. And it may not, you may not like it, but I'm not sure that's bringing it into disrepute. It's a principle I've always adhered to, Councillor Anderson, and I objected on the STC one as well. I think this is infringement of our personal liberties.
so it's the third from the bottom bullet point under 5.1. So let's say councillor Black has a personal social media accounts as a fisherman or as a train spotter.
That's more like it, train spotter.
And you post something saying
So STBF really doesn't support train spotters.
boring meeting with photography fund. You're saying you should be allowed to say that, yeah.
As a councillor.
No, it's not saying as a councillor. It's not saying that. That's precisely the point. If I was saying it as a councillor, that's one thing. This does not say that. If I was
It
personally,
says this policy is intended to help trustee, council staff and volunteers make appropriate decisions.
Officially on that. No, I don't think it's a.
it's section 5, individuals' use of social media.
I
It's
think,
hard, isn't
I don't
We
think,
move on. I've raised my objection.
I can understand the objection. I don't think it's a big issue. If you say something as in a personal account that's about STBF, that's fine. If it's
If I'm saying as a
offensive or
councillor,
derogatory, etc., I think that's a different issue.
that's different. If I'm saying it as a councillor,
Yeah.
that's a different matter.
We've had it in the past, haven't we, basically in recent months, haven't we? Councillors saying things in personal capacity. It's pretty much awful towards councillors and the current mayor, and they've got away with it because it's in a personal capacity, whereas they've done it via their social media, because a few of us have got councillor pages on Facebook. If we done it that way, then the council and the STBF are more than welcome to do for it.
I think we just need to leave that in and deal with each case on its individual merits as it arises. Okay, so social media policy attachment 8B. Is everyone happy with that? Anyone prepared to propose it?
Yeah.
Councillor Mallet? Councillor Tomlins is seconding. All those in favour? Councillor Black's against. Everyone else is in favour. Okay, the next one is the press and media policy. That's 8C. Any comments on this? Seems fairly self-explanatory.
I mean, it's exactly the same as the STC one. I took out the reference to Facebook because STBF doesn't have a Facebook.
I was just going to ask that question. If it follows the FTC,
It's the same, but without the
and I
Facebook.
don't think really we
They're two sides of the
should or could
same.
have any objection to it.
Two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Anyone prepared to propose this? Councillor Black, seconded. Councillor Gray, all those in favour? It's unanimous. Okay. The next one is the publication policy. This is at 8D. Any comments on this?
Again, it's the same as the
STC.
STC. A couple of minor differences towards the end as to things which are property of STBF rather than, there's no reference to allotments, that's in the STC. The village hall is put under STBF.
Village hall.
Well, village hall,
Okay.
as it were.
Anyone wishing to propose this? Acceptance. Councillor Mallet, I'll second it. All those in favour? It's agreed unanimously. The next one is 8E, and this is record management and retention policy. Any comments on this? Yeah. So anyone prepared to propose this? Councillor Black, Councillor Fortescue seconding. All those in favour? That's again unanimous. Thank you. And finally, 8F is the data security and bring your own device policy. So this is about using your own device within meetings, etc. Any comments on this? No? Anyone happy to propose it? Councillor Ripley and Councillor Fortescue is seconding. All those in favour?
Just
Yep. Councillor Malley.
bits I haven't read of this, is just to confirm that we can bring our own device.
Yes.
Because I have to say, I was going to comment, I mean, these machines are absolutely dreadful.
They're awful. They are awful. I use my mobile phone and a
It's a
tablet now.
complete disaster.
Yeah.
Look at how many brought their own equipment today.
Yeah, most.
I mean, how many of us have our own devices?
Well, I don't know how to access my stuff on my own equipment.
Just go into Outlook email, do it by that.
What?
Outlook email.
Just get,
A
I
good
can
way
show
to do
you.
it is via the Sandwich Town Council website, because all the documents are
Yes, I'm looking at it.
legally.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
precisely doing at the moment. However, the confidential documents are not.
No,
on my
that's not
website.
possible, absolutely.
Have you got Outlook on your,
No, I haven't, but I'll have to.
I can show you how to do
Yeah,
that.
that's very useful to
I
have it
don't
on your
think they're
laptop,
as bad as all that.
and you get direct
Question
access
of
to all the
familiarity, like all of these things.
Mine went kaput, so I've got my own.
No.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so if you're, sorry, we go back to the vote on that, I forget who.
Where were we?
HF, data security and bring your own device.
Councillor Ripley, Councillor Fortescue, and everyone agreed, I think.
Okay, all in favour?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are all agreed, thank you. The next item is attachment 9. This is the Tollbridge Charity Compliance and Council Efficiency Report. Now, this is a major report that's been prepared by the Asset Working Group, and thanks to Councillor Bragg and Councillors Breen for bringing this forward. It went to the Finance and General Purposes Committee, and now they've brought it back here with a covering report. I think because there are some comments about this from different councillors, and it's obviously a big topic for discussion. And given that we're only just quorum tonight, I'm not sure that we're going to be able to make decisions. But we will have just a general discussion now and then see how that goes and then decide what we're going to do. So I've asked if Councillor Black, as one of the authors of this report, can just give a brief introduction, and then we'll take the discussion forward from there.
Thank you. I think we would accept straight away that we've got a small group here. This needs to be discussed more widely. However, I think the best way would be for us to think of this as the start of an audit. And the audit is really the questions we've got to ask. Are we doing the right things? And are we doing them as well as we could do them? I do think we need to think very, very carefully about this, and we will need proper advice. And there are issues about where we get that proper advice, but we need to be advised in the best way to make all of this work in the long run, because we must take a long-term view. If we carry on as we do now, will we really have the funds to carry on? We know the precept is completely inadequate for the total operations that we have. As we run down the STBF, we're going to face more and more problems unless we start doing things differently. What we mean by different, I don't know, and I'm not going to propose that tonight. I think there's also been a bit of an issue that, for whatever reasons, not all of the Asset Working Party were able to discuss the items fully. So I think paper came in fairly late in the day, raising a few very pertinent questions. What I would suggest is we need to do 2 or 3 things. The first thing is I do think the working party, or enough members that could be attend, should meet very quickly, because we need to get these conflicting viewpoints aired and understood, and the significance of them. I'm referring in particular to Councillor Gray, who wrote a detailed report in response to the paper here, questioning some of the assumptions, and we need to know the basis of that. Have we got some things wrong? Have we got things right? That's the first thing I think that needs to happen, and I think personally, if we can do it, that should be done in the next 2 weeks. I would suggest, I wasn't on the working party, but I'm quite happy to attend, wearing my hat as chair of the finance committee for STBF. I think from that, once we have some clarity, we should then have an extraordinary meeting of the Tollbridge Fund to look at this. I don't think it's something that could be left for a normal meeting, and the next normal meeting is not until March. And that is, to my mind, far too late. We need to get roller skates on now. Goodness knows what direction the roller skates will take us in, and I'm not proposing that at the moment. But I think we need to do that, and councillors need to have a long, hard read of this, because there's a great deal of information, I think, prepared by Councillor Breen and also by our property manager and by our RFO. Because if we don't look at this now, one day we will find a huge problem on our hands. And I'd far rather that we know what the problem is, can get the advice from whatever source. And Councillor Ripley made a few comments to me earlier on about this, about some very good sources of advice as well. So I think that's what I would like us to do. Clearly, there's going to be some quite firmly held opinions about this, And we need to debate that, but I think it's so complicated, it would need an extraordinary meeting in January.
I mean, I've been concerned about this for the last 3 years. I think I've raised a few times about the Bridge Act of 1754, which allegedly is the governing document of the Toll Bridge Fund. No one has ever shown me a copy of that act. I don't know if
Got a copy of my,
the wording exists
got a copy.
of the Bridge Act. Yeah. And we agreed in June 2024, a statement of purpose for the Toll Bridge Fund, which referred to the Bridge Act. But I'm not convinced that that is a governing document as I recognise it, which sets out arrangements for meetings and governance and special meetings and so on. So I think there are concerns about the relationship. But I'll open it up to anyone who wishes to comment. I know Councillor Gray does. I know Councillor Marie does. So, Councillor Gray.
All I would really like to say at this stage is that in these documents, there are a number of statements made which are simply wrong in law, and they need to be corrected.
Okay, do you want to run through those?
No, I don't want to go through those now. I'm very happy to sit down with the Assets Working Group who prepared that report and go through it with them. And I think the sooner that is done, the better.
You were a member of the Assets Working Group.
Yes, but I wasn't available at that meeting, so I haven't had a chance to talk to that meeting.
Yeah.
So I would like there to be I'd like this referred back to the Assets Working Group to reconsider certain
I think that's
statements and
essential.
aspects of it. And
Yeah, I think that's
that is the way forward. And with the Assets Working Group, I'm having listened to any other comments people may have before that meeting. And I hope that could be held really quickly.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I think that the legal aspects, I mean, clearly Councillor Breen has written this in good faith. From what I can see of it, he's correct on most of his points.
Yeah.
But this was discussed at Finance and General Purposes. It has been discussed, but it does need a new meeting of that group to take on board Councillor Gray's comment, and then we need a bigger group of the Toll Bridge Fund trustee to take this forward. The roadmap in this report does look at coming to a conclusion by, I think, December next year.
Yes.
So we do have a 12-month period and we need to do it properly and make sure that we deal with all the issues as we go along. Councillor Murray.
Yes, I made my comments quite clear at the STC meeting a couple of weeks ago regarding this. I'm dead against it. I said that quite clearly. I said the Toll Bridge Fund was predominantly for the town. And
Dead against what?
Dead against what the options that were made available, especially the last one, was just folding it and putting it.
Well, the first option is not to do anything other than tinker with the current.
The third option that was put on the original table, STC.
You're right. The first option is to see what we can do to make it work better, existing arrangement. The second option is, do we put it as a charity that gives one sum and that's the end of it? Or the third one is, as
Yeah,
you said,
the third one, number 3, is the one I was dead against. This Toll Bridge Fund is a charity. You can't fold a charity and put it within a local authority. The money was there for the town. It is for the town. I've had many people argue with me over the fact that even members of the family that were the councillors that got the Toll Bridge Fund together and got it working as a charity. The Charity Commission are not going to like this either. I can't justify spending up to £7,000-8,000 on legal fees regarding the roadmap that I've just looked at. I can't do that. And also at STC meeting, we agreed that a separate full STBF meeting will be held in January to discuss the issue. Sending it back to the working group is only going to throw it back into the weeds. That's my opinion. And also, we're very short on councillors here as well for this. And I do feel that especially the mayor as well, the chair of the trustees, we do, and also two long-standing councillors, especially Councillor Franklin, who's been here since day dot. We all know that, and he knows a vast amount of information regarding Toll Bridge. So we do need to speak to him as a trustee as well. my feeling is that we don't speak about this anymore. We defer it until January. We create another meeting in January, as it was discussed at the STC finance meeting last week, where we can have more councillors in so we can discuss it. There is a lot of legal stuff that we need to go through, as Councillor Graves rightly said, because I've read it as well. I've been reading it all day. Hence my advice back here from Brighton, because I want to make my point across as one of the long-standing councillors who's been involved with Tolders for many, many years as a member of public and also as a councillor. Yeah, I mean, so if we're going to do it, we need to get it right. The STBF has been mismanaged. It's been managed for a number of years, and I said that at the last meeting as well. But we need to be clear and focused. And I don't think spending a vast amount of money for the answers probably that you're not going to like either, or the STBF are not going to like either. It's just wasting charity money that money could go to the town. That's my opinion.
So,
Any other views?
well, may I make a proposal then? Really, there's two parts to the proposal. Is that we get the asset working party to meet. I'm happy to come along to that, although I wasn't part of that, as quickly as possible. And that we also then set up an extraordinary general meeting of the STBF in January. And that would be my proposal. I suppose I think that is the way forward. I think both councillors have made very valid points. This is a very thorny issue, and for some people, it's a very emotional issue.
Yes.
So let's try to get it right, but we cannot leave things to drift as we have for a fair length of time for very many reasons. So that would be my proposal.
I think the fact that there are so many opinions on this and so many doubts about what's been happening for the last 50 years
And of course, if we
suggests to me that we do need to get legal advice, but that's a factor for a thing for the future. I think I agree with Councillor Black that perhaps the asset working group needs to meet, including Councillor Gray, before Christmas, so that this report can be tweaked and
I would second that.
corrected if necessary, and that the town clerk then consults with all councillors or as trustee with a date for a meeting in early or mid.
So my minute at the moment is the asset, it would be moved to that the assets working group would meet to discuss amendments to the report as quickly as possible. An STBF EGM should be set up for January 2026 to discuss this with a larger number of councillors present.
Can I just add, I have a feeling that Councillor Green is going to be away for a substantial part of January.
I think
You
that's,
mentioned that, and I think it's important, given how,
he's critical,
a
yes, you're
major
right.
player in this, that he is at the meeting.
I think that's going to be one of the stumbling blocks. I think we have to somehow get this group.
I think Councillor Breen is the primary author of this report with respect to Councillor Black. So he does need to be at that meeting, perhaps. So if you could check when he's free and then fix a date based on his diary.
Can I not beg, but can I implore the trustees to seek advice as well from Councillor Franklin? When you do your assets working group and you have your discussion about this, please invite Councillor Franklin.
Yeah, Councillor Breen has met with Councillor Franklin, so his input has gone into this. But I think it's important, if this report is tweaked and or corrected according to Councillor Gray's advice, then it should be then circulated to all councillors as a draft before for comments back to yourself and Councillor Breen before it comes as a final report to the extraordinary STBF.
Can I ask the purpose of that? Because isn't that the purpose of the meeting? Because if we send I just feel that if we send as a draft or await comments there, then we send another draft, we'll have more comments. I would suggest we send a draft, but that's the full discussion at the meeting, would be my suggestion. I'm happy to be overruled, but I just think that we're just putting more and more paperwork in, it'll churn and churn and churn. And
I think the experience of this report, which went out and Councillor Gray then jumped in with comments on the report as published, suggest that it makes sense for all councillors to see a draft before it's published, so that any corrections or errors or issues that need to be corrected can be addressed at that stage. That's my view.
I think that's sensible.
Probably
That's why I
guide-
would say to you, can you amend the minutes?
So
before?
the process would be the asset working group meets with Councillor Gray, Councillors Breen and Black and others. It tweaks this report and then sends it out to all councillors saying this is the final draft report of the assets working group, which will go to the extraordinary meeting. Any comments, and then subject to any comments coming back, then the final report's submitted. Councillor Marie?
Yeah, I just want to make, Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't think there's a need to have a big rush. Yes, but it does need to be looked at. Yes, it does need to be worked on and needs to be changed. I agree that wholeheartedly. However, we don't need to rush it. I just think if we rush it, if we get it wrong, then this town will eat this council alive, I'm telling you, because that Tolbooth fund is for the town. It's not for anything else, not even for us, it's for the town.
Yeah, Councillor.
It's just a general comment that we need to make sure that what we do is as transparent as possible.
Yes, yeah.
Because going on from what Councillor Murray has said, whereas I don't think the town will actually eat us, we'll be gone. And the impact of whatever we do won't appear really for 20 years. And they'll look back on us and some of us will still be, well, I will be.
I will be.
You will be.
My future there.
I'm intending to be. Some of us might still be here.
Yeah.
And then we say, you got it wrong.
Yeah.
We can get it wrong as long as it's accepted that we did it transparently.
Okay. So the proposal is that the asset working group meets as soon as possible with Councillor Gray and Breen and Black and others, members of that group, and that the town clerk canvasses dates from Councillor Breen for January, preferably, if not February, and that we work towards an extraordinary STBF meeting where that final report, as commented on by all councillors, can be discussed in a proper setting. Do we have a proposer for that? Councillor Black, seconder.
I would second that.
Councillor Gray, all those in favour? That's agreed. Okay, so we have a way forward. Thank you for your input. The next item is attachment 10, which is the proposed budget for 26/7. And this is attached, appendix 10. Do we have any comments on the proposed budget? Councillor Black, do you want to speak to this as your chair of the finance committee?
No, we just, the budget is the budget, and there's nothing more to say.
Yeah.
It's not a concrete thing. This is just to note and receive the report of the budget, what the finance committees have done over the last couple 2 weeks ago regarding the setting the budgets for everything. They're not concrete. They're just a draft at the moment. Well, not so much a draft.
They are drafted. They obviously then be changed, agreed, finalised.
Before the financial year.
Yeah.
Financial year.
Yeah. So this budget does make, I'm just trying to find it, it does make some assumptions about increases in income and in expenditure.
Yes, we did discuss all of these in.
And it was all discussed at the finance committee.
And I would like to say that having the live input and being able to alter the figures on screen was extremely helpful.
Yeah. One key thing that John, the interim finance officer, has done, instead of talking about the payroll in the budget for the group as a whole, he's replacing that with a management charge. So the STBF will, if you like, bill STC for the costs of running the group, the Guildhall, etc. And that's in the first column of the budget that you can see there. 229,000. So if there aren't any further comments, can I ask for someone to propose this? Any amendments? There's no amendments. Councillor Ripley is proposing. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, I'll second.
Councillor, all those in favour? Thank you. That's unanimous. So the next final item is the date of the next meeting for STC, and that is the 16th of March. That's the next full meeting. Of course, if we have an extraordinary meeting, you'll be advised of that date before then. Okay, that's the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
End stream. We are now ended.
Sorry?